Well, welcome back, listeners. We have had incredible conversations today, new products, uh, how to get your product noticed on TV. So if you missed any of it, go to our YouTube channel, Passage to Profit Show, or listen to our podcast on iHeart, Passage to Profit, The Inventor Show. And you will be amazed at what people are doing. We have people from Canada, we have people from the US. It's been a lot of fun. But now we
And
have
we
something.
had Elon Musk.
Well, we didn't have Elon. We had to talk about Elon.
It's just a minor difference there.
Yeah, right. But I am so excited about our next presenter because she has been on the show before. She is doing amazing work with the next generation of leaders all over the world. So I'm not going to say too much about it. I'm going to let her explain what she does. But Michele Joseph with SGAP Leaders. Welcome, Michele.
Thank you. It's so good to be back. I missed you guys. You are awesome. You're awesome.
Thank you.
First of all, SGAP Leaders, which stands for the Student Global Ambassador Program, is a leadership program for underserved students, usually ages 13 to 18. We empower young leaders to take action on real-world problems using STEM to solve sustainability, social justice, as well as environmental challenges. We've been very fortunate to impact, over the short time that we've been around, roughly 3,500 students in New York, New Jersey, Maryland, DC, and Virginia.
Wow.
And I think the biggest challenge for us has been, like everybody else, pivoting once COVID hit. Since we work with the schools, when the schools closed, we had to figure out what the next steps were. So it has been an uphill battle, but we figured out through our partnerships, we figured out through ways in which we could approach our schools from a virtual platform, and we figured out by putting together kits and delivering it directly to our students and then still engaging them. So it's been quite a ride, but we've been very fortunate and opened up the school opportunities to actually different schools outside of the United States, as well as those in our current footprint.
Right. So you brought a couple of students on the show on Passage to Profit a couple of years ago when you came on. They were so impressive, the things these kids are doing. So what are some of the things your kids now are doing?
Great question. So the three students who came last time were Zula, Brendan, and Ben. They were 11th and 12th graders at the time. Now they're in actually undergraduate school. And Zula is one of our board members. She came back and is one of our board members. And Ben, who actually has been working with us, he's at the University of Texas. He went and presented to South by Southwest his app that was really awesome. So he's excited and has actually wrote us back and said without the opportunities through SGAP, he would not have seen where he was going or his interest in starting and developing his own business.
That's
Excellent.
great. That is so exciting.
And now what you're doing with Sam, who we just heard from, the way I understand it from going online is that you guys are using Sam's product to try to train children to recognize predators online. Is that pretty much it?
It is. As I mentioned, what we use as far as students to get them engaged is and talk about social justice issues. And when we actually surveyed our students, we found that human trafficking was a concern for them. So we brokered an opportunity, having met Sam on Passage to Profit way back in 2019. We kept in touch, and we brokered an opportunity with our another partner, Saving Jane, and New Jersey Coalition Against Human Trafficking. And we saw the opportunity because Sam's product and platform really meets the needs for our community, specifically our schools. So the gaming fits in with Gen Z, which is our student body.
Right.
The actual failing forward, which aligns with our design thinking methodology. So the kids actually get excited and they are engaged and they perform much better as a tool to reinforce what they've already learned. So we're excited about the opportunity to educate thousands of kids about the concerns about grooming online and human trafficking.
So Sam, can you say a few words about your involvement with the program?
Yeah, I'd probably say that the work that Michele does with SGAP leaders and some of their partners is so needed today, given the fact that uh, with young people being remote and sometimes being disconnected even from their primary source of education, programs like this are so critical for rounding out young people. And also, I think it's so important for this level of involvement because it shows for us on the other side of the market, so many large brands and companies, it inspires them to do more as they see organizations like SGAP and their young people that are so actively involved in social justice issues.
That's great. Kenya?
Yeah, Michele, I had a question for you. I mean, because we're all pretty much virtual now and we're quarantining, and how are you overcoming those challenges of keeping the kids that are in your programs engaged and still being able to provide those type of resources?
Excellent question. So one of the things we found that was really helpful for us, Kenya, is partnering with organizations that have relationship. So obviously we mentioned working with One Huddle and Saving Jane, but we also have another partner called the Global Education Motivators. What we try to do is, since they have a cohort of schools that they work with, and we also do the same, we try to reach one by providing options for the students to be able to use a variety of tools, some which don't necessarily necessitate that they have to have internet access so that they could participate. Two, finding ways where the kids could do, I would say, positive reinforcement in such a way that it is competitive but fun at the same time. So engaging them, empowering them, listening to their voices. And one of our programs that really has been phenomenal is our Think Design for Social Impact. And what we did is it's working with design thinking as a methodology, and the students choose the topic. Our students chose systemic racism as a topic to actually address and how we could become the anti-racist. So what was interesting is we created these kits, delivered them to the students directly to their homes, and then the kids came up with solutions with Play-Doh and Legos of how they would solve their problem in their own communities.
Wow.
So
Excellent.
getting their voices, engaging them, having them to work with gamification to reinforce, and then ultimately tally that into an opportunity for them to, what are you going to do in your community, and challenge them.
Excellent. I know Sarah has something to say here.
I love what you're doing, Michele. It's awesome.
Thank you.
So from what I understand, you went from just local, a few different states, to going to moving to online, obviously because of COVID restrictions. Are you going to be expanding now that you've kind of honed in on this and mastered the technology? Are you going to go out to other school districts or states across the country? Because I think sounds like you're building, incredible minds and training kids to think forwardly, and I just love that.
Absolutely, you're on target with what our next strategy is. Because we're finding we can now cross-pollinate from schools, obviously in the DC metropolitan area, New York, New Jersey, why not just expand that? So one of the things that we've done is we developed a methodology and a curriculum and course design around climate change, which affects everybody all over. So what's nice is we're piloting that climate change curriculum this fall, and we hope to roll it out since there's a mandate in New Jersey, K through 12, for climate change curriculum. We've also reached out to some of our contacts which focus on career readiness as well as college readiness on the West Coast and the Washington State, Seattle area, and they're also very much interested in what we're doing. So scaling is critical for us.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So that was just absolutely fantastic, Michele. Unfortunately, we're coming to the end of the segment. And thank you very much for joining us again on Passage to Profit.
And that is sgapleaders.org.
Correct.
Right,
That's
and
exactly
giving us an update for sgapleaders.org. So we'll be right back with a wrap up right after this message.